Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. To compose the opening table, we would like to invite Dr. Bina Agarwal, President of ISEE, Dr. Paulo Mibieli, President ECO, Dr. Peter May, Chairman ISEE 2012 Organizing Committee, Dr. Ana Célia Castro, Coordinator, National Institute for Science and Technology in Public Policies, Strategies and Development, Dr. Pushpan Kumar, Chief Ecosystem Services Economics Unit, Mr. Juan Manuel Hoyos, Executive Vice President, Santander. Dr. Sérgio Besserman Viana, Chairman of the Council on Sustainable Development, City of Rio de Janeiro. Dr. Marilene Ramos, President, INEA, Rio de Janeiro. Dr. Sérgio Margulis, Advisor representing Isabela Teixeira, Minister of the Environment of Brazil. And now let's watch the video of the Brazilian National Anthem. I would like to invite Dr. Peter May, Chairman ISEE 2012 Organizing Committee, to take the floor.
Vamos falar por aqui, mais bem ouvido. In English, Senator Cristóvão Buarque, Ministerial Advisor Sergio Margulis, State Institute of Environment President Marilene Ramos, and the Chairman of the Committee on Sustainable Development of the Rio City Government, Sergio Besserman, distinguished speakers and sponsors, ISE members, and participants from around the world. On behalf of the President of ISEE, Bina Agarwal, and ECO President Paulo Mibieli, we are delighted to welcome you to ISEE 2012. Our goals in organizing ISEE 2012 to dovetail with Rio Plus 20 was sustained since ISEE members committed to this program in Oldenburg in 2010. We have our president of the Oldenburg session has arrived today to remind us how easy and sometimes complicated putting together these meetings can be. We were able to carry on with this goal despite several obstacles, which I think you have all felt quite close to yourselves. The change of the date for the summit, pushing it forward 3 weeks, the crush of the delegations on the Rio accommodations, and I sure hope you all have found suitable accommodations in Rio with a little bit of help from ourselves and our friends, The change of the crush of the delegation, and the competing demands on our sponsors, who are all represented here, for support to the myriad events that are already well underway here in Rio de Janeiro. So you've all experienced this crush of traffic that has a lot to do with Rio Plus 20. In large measure, our ability to carry forward was stimulated by the intense interest our call for papers in June last year generated in the scientific community. We attracted over 1,100 papers, paper submissions by over 800 authors in 71 countries. Very good showing. Many of you are new to ISEE. It's not only people from ISEE who are coming to this meeting, but we were compelled by the multitude of thematic concerns that you felt were relevant to the context of Rio Plus 20 and the particular engagement of our society with concern for developing countries. We were able to accommodate a good number of such papers in our 30 special panels and roundtables, 85 oral presentation sessions, and nearly 100 posters during the 3-day conference that will be starting tomorrow. The problems of juggling these myriad viewpoints against our thematic concerns expressed in the call for papers took up much of our waking and most often sleepless hours over the past few months, with Bina and I burning the midnight and early morning oil quite frequently, as she will be sure to tell you, between Delhi and in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and Rio at 12:30 at night. Quite frequently, we were discussing these matters, and she will be telling you how we dealt with a number of reschedulings, cancellations, and bringing on ever more exciting groups of contributors to our debate, including Yolanda Kakabadze, who's going to be speaking with us a little later this evening, Lord Stern, who will be coming on the 19th, along with Prime Minister Jigme Thinley from Bhutan, among others who will grace our podium today and for the next 3 days. Those of you who feel out of place in your sessions or still encounter conflicts in timings, you are not alone. That's what we learned from the experience of putting together an event like this. We'll be announcing last-minute rejugglings as we go along to try to accommodate you better. So please, if you do see that you're in some place that you don't really feel comfortable, get in touch with us and we'll see where we can fit you in. It seems that even optimization software is not always optimum for human encounters. But thanks are due to our organizational support team at MCI Group, particularly Gina Van Dijk, Christine Aguiar, and Bruna Biasson for having helped us to manage the suboptimal with the usual disclaimers on my part. And I also want to express thanks to Isaira Zineski of EcoEco and of Policy Mix, who always lent a helping hand with this effort. Having come this far, we want particularly to express our immense appreciation to Banco Santander for having made an early exclusive commitment to the conference, for which our thanks to Vice President Hoyos and to Linda and to Amalia, who have been helping us through this very complex process. The proactive engagement of the group to extend social and environmental safeguards throughout its due diligence procedures and the introduction of innovative lines of credit in support of the transition to a low-carbon and dematerialized society are highly praiseworthy, especially since these efforts are being sustained in the face of the mounting crisis in Europe, particularly in Spain. In the same light, as the earliest comer to ISEE 2012, I wish to thank Ana Celia Castro in the name of Renato Boschi and the other members of the Management Committee of the National Institute for Science and Technology and Public Policies, Strategies and Development, INCT-PPED for short, for faith in the importance of the research and policy framing under discussion in ecological economics to the national and international priorities in addressing biodiversity loss and climate change. Without the complementary support we were afforded by the Ministry of Science and Technology through FINEP and CNPq, and the commitment by the Banco Nacional de Desenvolvimento Econômico e Social, BNDES, this event would not have been possible. So we thank you all very much. In addition, we are very happy to have been able to bring some of you to Rio from the developing world with grant assistance from the International Social Science Council with funds from SIDA, from Sweden, and from UNEP Nairobi, who is already represented here on our table, Pushpam Kumar, and from UNEP-TPED in Europe. The Friedrich Ebert Stiftung was also able to help us with some travel support, and the Instituto Arapiau, difficult, with the help of Henrique Leal and his staff in São Paulo, were also very helpful to bring this program together. So thank you all very much for your help and support. And once again, we welcome you all to Rio and to ISEE 2012. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter, for your words. Thank you so much. I would like to invite Dr. Bina Agarwal, President ISEE, to take the floor.
Is this technology working? Yes. Well, you see, technology always works better with women. Well, distinguished colleagues and friends, boa noite and welcome. On behalf of myself, Peter May, Paolo Mebel, and the ISEE Board and the International Scientific Committee, I very warmly welcome you to this 12th biennial conference of the International Society for Ecological Economics. By the end of this, you'll have 5 million welcomes, but it's never too many, I would imagine. I think it's really amazing to see all of you at last, such a wonderful gathering of major thinkers and practitioners. And as Peter said, we're really pleased that the conference themes resonated so well with you, because on our panels, our roundtables, posters, and keynotes cover the full span of the themes that we had outlined in the call for papers. We have papers which cover greening the economy, those who agree with the title and those who don't agree with it, environmental justice, ethics and values, the political economy of green development, and methodological challenges. As we all recognize, efforts to achieve the green economy hold significant prospects for cooperation, but also the potential for conflict. There is a promise of green growth, but also the possibility of discontent, inequality, and exclusion. Can the development agenda, as it unfolds over the next few decades, be sustainable, inclusive, and environmentally regenerative? That is, of course, the question. And we face methodological challenges as environmental economists. We need cross-disciplinary approaches. We must bridge chasms and deal with the unknown. We will be seeking diverse solutions to shared concerns, and through your engagement, we hope to link the local and the global, across countries and between communities. So we expect this conference to take us forward in addressing these needs. Also, as Peter said, the UN Conference on Sustainable Development, which follows this one, provides quite a unique opportunity to take our intellectual debates to a more diverse forum, one which is especially conducive to conversations between academics, policymakers, and civil society actors. So in a sense, this is a historic moment in the direction we might go in trying to survive and survive as a planet, and what ecological economics could contribute intellectually and otherwise to that endeavor. So when the ISEE board seized the opportunity and we said, well, let's dovetail this with the Rio Plus 20, we of course little realized what an uphill task this would be in terms of logistics, especially with date changes. So over the past year and more, Peter, I, and his entire team really worked very, very hard to organize this event, to raise funds, to bring in major speakers. And we hope that you will be pleased with the result. Today, as in the coming 3 days, you will hear many significant people, starting from Yolanda, who's here on the, who's right here on the first row, and Senator Barak today, and ending on the last plenary on the 19th with Lord Nicholas Stern and the Prime Minister of Bhutan. And I'm very much hoping that the Prime Minister of Bhutan will share with us the secret of being happy from his countrymen. Now we are also here we will also hear today for the first time, tomorrow actually, the full panel of past presidents and current presidents of ISEE. So you can see the development of their ideas and so on. And of course, we will get, I hope, a full flavor of the global community from all of you, from the regions, including the Global South. But there is one person that we will miss deeply today, and that is Elinor Ostrom. We tried very hard to bring her to this conference, not realizing how ill she was. And as many of you would know, she passed away on 12th of June in Bloomington in Indiana. So I thought I'd use this occasion to say a few words because she brought to the subject of ecological economics something quite unique. Many of you, like me, would have been inspired by Lynn Ostrom's work on the commons and by her as a person. Now, her most famous book, of course, the 1990 book, Governing the Commons, turned the field of ecological and institutional economics into a new direction, both theoretically and through its influence on policy and practice across the world. In fact, an understanding of ground experience was central to what one might say was her inductive approach to theory building. And Lynn actually wore her Nobel Prize very lightly because she was amazingly generous with her time and her commitment to fellow researchers and to colleagues globally. And I had the privilege of first meeting her in several countries and many times. She was very generous in endorsing my recent book. But I first met her in 1996 in Berkeley when she was nursing a broken ankle and still completely engaging with everything that was happening. This was at the International Association for the Study of the Commons Conference, which she had founded. And 16 years later, exactly in the same spirit, I last saw her 2 months ago in London in the conference on Planet Under Pressure. And she was as feisty then, although very ill, as we walked from her hotel to the conference venue, which was a good 20 minutes away. So as I said, she will be greatly missed as a unique intellectual presence and her feisty personality. And perhaps the best tribute we can pay to her would be to remember some of her ideas during the period of this conference. Because what she did in particular was she connected us with people and with communities, and she gave environmental governance a human face. And it is really that human face that we are seeking in the debates on the green economy, one might say. Let me end with a few thank yous. It is a great pleasure and challenge working in this conference with Peter May, as past ISEE president and chair of the local organizing committee. Peter, as you know, worked tirelessly over the past year on on every aspect of the conference, dealing with this enormous challenge of date change and many other things. And these past months, he and I have talked and emailed each other every day on every detail, bleary-eyed across time zones. And sometimes, of course, there were cross wires, and there were sparks which flew from both sides. And for reasons that I think only Jung or Freud can explain, all his emails, believe me, went into my spam folder. So my spam folder still has 557 emails from Peter. So a warm applause for Peter, folks. I also want to warmly thank the many members of the ISEE board and the international scientific community and regional societies, because we kept sending them these abstracts which kept arriving and arriving, and they read dozens and dozens of them and helped us make the paper selections. And Peter's already mentioned, and I would add my thanks, we're very grateful to the many organizations that funded us financially, and hugely thank the MCI team, which has taken the full weight of the logistical arrangements. But most of all, of course, this conference will be made by all of you, and thank you for coming across countries and continents to be here with us today. So in the coming 3 years, I hope you will find your concerns reflected in one or other of the conference debates. It is a debate, and from these debates, we hope will emerge a hope and clarity and some vision. So we'll be counting on you to be fully engaged intellectually, notwithstanding the many attractions of Rio. And we hope you will help formulate some proposals that could go to the delegates of the UNCST. So friends, once again, very warm welcome to Rio de Janeiro and to ISEE 2012.
Thank you so much, Mina, for your words. I would like to invite Dr. Paulo Mibielli, President of ECO, to take the floor.
Dear colleagues, I don't have much to say because Peter said it all, and he deserves all the applauses. I just want to say two things. First is we had hard work organizing this conference. Hard work with Peter. It was very nice working with you, Peter. Very good experience. And the people of local committee worked very hard too. Frederico, Feres, Leandra, Valéria, Peter's wife. And the people from MCI, Gina, Cristina, Juliana, among others. Thanks to the people, to this good team. And the second thing is, welcome you all. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful city where I live all my life. Thank you.
Thanks, Paulo, for your words. I would like to invite Dr. Sérgio Margulis, advisor to the Minister of the Environment of Brazil, to take the floor.
Well, thank you very much to the International Society for the invitation. I come here just to represent Minister Isabella Teixeira. I just want to reinforce the fact that she has fished me as an environmental economist who have been working in the World Bank for 20 years to work directly with her, and the fact that her Secretary General, which is the Vice Minister, is an economist, so she does really think that we have to bring more economics into the green thinking. So her absence here is literally because, as you can all understand, due to a number of conflicting events. I will also save you from very intelligent remarks because those will come in the sessions that you will be participating with substantive thinking. I just want to remind ourselves that as we look back to Rio 92 and we come back today, 20 years later, with the same welcome that every Brazilian on the table will give you, just to remind us that if one thing bothers us, environmental economists, environmentalists, and conscious economists, is that we probably failed a bit on the mainstreaming part of the environment. We keep preaching even now, and it's a bit more of the same to some extent, and we have to be creative enough not to allow this to be more of the same, but hearing again the need to mainstream the environment into mainstream development policies, etc. And to a very large extent, this requires, and this means, translating environmental values into economic terms, and also trying to the vice versa, whatever that means. So the challenge is for you to better link these things. We made extraordinary progress in valuation work, but we are still regarded as, well, too much uncertainty on these numbers. People are always skeptical about, well, what is the value of, the ecosystem services and pollution, etc. People remain skeptical, and so you have a relatively enormous task in front of you. Good luck, and I will personally try to join as much as possible, but wish us all lots of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Sérgio, for your words. I would like to invite Dr. Marilene Ramos, President of State Institute of Environment, Rio de Janeiro, to take the floor.
Good afternoon for all of you. Good afternoon, Dr. Bina Agarwal. As representative of Rio de Janeiro State, I welcome you that came to participate in this wonderful Earth Party Rio Plus 20. You could believe that Rio Plus 20 probably don't have good, very important results, but it's a very important experience for us to have this important moment in the future of the Earth. We are so proud to have the opportunity to hold this conference here. The ideas that we are discussed in forums like this will fill the discussion at the global forums like Rio 92 or Rio Plus 20. The good ideas was born in forums like these economic ideas. The government of Rio de Janeiro is making a big effort to change our economy in a green economy. Here you could find important experience in this way. I hope you could experience a very good days in Rio de Janeiro and very good luck in this conference, in the discussion here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter, for the invitation. Thanks.
Thanks for your words, Dr. Marilene. I would like to invite Dr. Sérgio Besserman Viana, City of Rio de Janeiro, to take the floor.
Thank you, President Bina Agarwal, our Chairman Peter May, colleagues of the table, all the presents, in the name of Senator Cristóvão Buarque, our leader in the road in Brazil. Thank you a lot for the invitation. It's an honor to represent the Mayor Eduardo Paes and the city of Rio de Janeiro in the ISEE Conference, especially because I'm also an economist and an ecologist, and also because I have a lot of teachers in the table and beyond you. Well, I had a brother who was a famous humorist in Brazil, and he died 6 years ago, and he said once that all the Brazilian economists are bold. So why bold? So 20, 30 years every day, oh God, I wrong again. Let's try it, and as you can see. But as you can see outside, the city of Rio de Janeiro had contracted splendorous days and weather. It was a little expensive, but we decided, because it was a necessary hedge for the city. We don't know the results of the UN conference, and we don't want to have the same destiny of Copenhagen, the city where things fail. Well, I just see the contract some minutes ago in the internet, and we will have good weather. The good weather is guaranteed by the municipality only until 20 June. 21 June and 22 June, the provision is the moment the chiefs of state will arrive to UN conference, we are working to have hurricanes, especially in the space of the ideas. And I'm sure that the ISEE Conference and the work we will have these days here will help us to produce these hurricanes. Welcome to Rio de Janeiro.
I would like to invite Mr. Juan Manuel Hoyos, Executive Vice President, Santander, for your words.
Again, good afternoon. I would like to thank the International Society for Ecological Economics for the invitation to participate in the opening of the 12th Conference of the Society during Rio +20. Personally, it is an honor to be with such a distinguished people, and for Banco Santander, which I represent, is a privilege to sponsor and participate in this conference. Some thoughts. We live in a time where social and environmental issues are no longer an external discussion for businesses, but rather they have become a central and integral part of the strategies. There is a growing, thanks be to God, understanding of how the limits of natural resources, the effects of poverty, and the unequal income distribution directly affect the reputation and value of a brand, and how they might limit the positive benefits of growth of the economy. If social and environmental issues are correctly addressed, positive results will be produced for all companies, society, and environment. Banco Santander's effort to contribute to sustainable development for Brazil concentrate in three areas: social and financial inclusion, education, and environmentally responsible business management. Let me give you just an example for each one of them. Social and financial inclusion. Our microcredit operation, by far the largest private operation in Brazil. We have disbursed over 1 billion reais, and we have helped over 230,000 entrepreneurs. This type of model, we believe, generates social inclusion, encourages entrepreneurship, and develop local economy. Education. Santander Universidades. We have granted over 45,000 scholarships in Brazil and 95,000 scholarships throughout the world from 1996 to last year. And finally, environmentally responsible business management. It was mentioned that we are pioneers on applying social and environmental criteria to assess loans. We have helped and trying to continue to help finance solutions for small, medium, and large companies in terms of savings of energy, savings of water consumption, dealing with waste management and gas emission issues. In 2011, we have reached a volume of 1.2 billion for this type of operations. Let me share with you that we are proud of what we have accomplished so far. We are. However, we are committed to do much more. We are committed to do much more. In order to be able to do that, from our point of view, we have to address two issues. First, to increase the scale of our operations to the point that they become indeed the way of doing business. That's the first. The second issue is how to keep innovating, searching for more efficiency in our processes, and developing new business models that integrate social, environmental, and economical aspects. As it was mentioned, we believe that for doing this correctly, we need to strengthen, we all need to strengthen the conceptual foundations of what we're doing. In this context, we share with ISEE the perspective that scholars and businesses have to debate and share points of view to find, together, solutions that are both systemic and multidisciplinary. And this is precisely what this conference should allow us to do. And this is the reason that has motivated Banco Santander to sponsor and participate. The market, the economy, and the society we aspire to live in will be built through dialogue, debate, and action involving scholars, businesses, civil society, and governments. We at Banco Santander have a strong interest and commitment to be an integral part of this construction, because this construction has a noble purpose that would benefit the world. I wish all of us to have a very successful company, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Juan Manuel, for your words. I would like to invite Dr. Pushpen Kumar, Chief of UNEP, to take the floor.
Bina, Peter, and fellow panelists, this partnership of UNEP with ISEE is a very privileged partnership for various reasons, and I'm extremely delighted to be here. Thanks, Peter, for the invitation. This is a privileged partnership because UNEP highly values what ISEE and its members are doing as a research. For example, many of us and the members of ISEE are working on valuation of ecosystem services. For example, they do research, they publish. But equal number of members of ISEE also raise the voices against economic valuation of ecosystem services. And as you know, a large number of member states, nearly 1/4 out of 193, they don't blindly believe in valuation of ecosystem services. And precisely for that reason, UNEP always falls back to the research which ISEE does. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think any other society and professional bodies does research which has diversity and multiplicity of thinking, which is really needed for a policy-making institution or for a policy executing agencies like UNEP. So in that context, it's a really privileged partnership of UNEP and ISEE. And many of you might know that UNEP has been involved in ISEE at least since 2006. 2008, ISEE was the host of UNEP was the host of ISEE 2008 in Nairobi. Many initiatives from UNEP, Millennium Ecosystem Assessment, or recently the Economics of Ecosystem Services and Biodiversity, known as DEEP, could not have been completed if the support, intellectual support and guidance had not come from the members of ISEE. At least, I don't know whether Pawan is in the audience, but he would also know as a study leader of TEEB. TEEB succeeded to whatever extent because a large number of members from ISEE contributed to it in various capacity as author, as a reviewer, as advisory board members. So that is the debt UNEP owes to ISEE. But for the ISEE members, if you really want to see your research being operationalized and used in larger parts of the world, I mean, you publish, grow your position, that is one thing, but if you really believe that your research should be utilized, then UNEP could be one of the potential channels which can take your research and goes to the member states and really try to resolve the problem with the help of your research. So it is a kind of privilege for you. If you see that UNEP can do, then it can really work both ways, ISEE to UNEP and UNEP to ISEE. So in that context, this is a privileged partnership. I think many of the UNEP people are right now in this city for the UN conference starting next week, although it has already started in terms of side events, but the major negotiation will be from 20 to 22nd. And believe me, many of those people from UNEP are really trying to know what the members of ISEE are saying on green economy. So whatever you do, talk, and discuss will be keenly watched, and somebody is there to use what you are going to say here in this conference. So in that capacity, this is very important for UNEP. With this, I hope, and I'm more than sure that this conference will be another milestone in the history of ISEE conferences. What we have heard from Peter in terms of the selection of papers, the quality has really improved. If you see the way conferences have moved. So I wish best wishes and good luck for the conference and the deliberations. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Dr. Pushpan, for your words. I would like to invite Dr. Ana Célia Castro, coordinator of INCT-PPED, to take the floor.
Thank you. This is an extraordinary international conference, and I want, first of all, congratulate the organizers in the name of Professor Peter May, the ISEE Directory in the name of Bina Agawala, and also the president of EcoEco, Paulo Mibielli. They made this wonderful and most fruitful meeting possible. My role here is to welcome all the participants in the name of Professor Renato Bosch, who is the coordinator of National Science Technology Institute for Public Policies, Strategies and Development. I'm the vice coordinator. But in the name also of the graduate program in public policies from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. Let me say a few words on the INCT and the graduate program, which I have the honor to coordinate. The main objective of our institute is to contribute for the conceptual and instrumental renewal of the public action committed with sustainable development. To face the challenges posed by the international crisis, it's evident the need for innovative strategies on the side of government, other social actors, and enterprises. The Institute and the graduate program intend to subsidize governmental public actions by preparing actors for the strategic thinking in Brazil and Latin America, taking for granted the new challenges. A, the remarkable presence of new emerging developing countries, and B, that these countries retain resources, natural resources, population, and innovative capacity, underrated until recently. Developed countries accounted for 62% of the world GDP in 2002, dropping to 52% in 2011, and forecast to represent only 40% in 2020. The hegemony of the Atlantic axis, comprising the United States and Europe, appears to be coming to an end. In opposition, the unipolar world led by the United States, a multipolar system begins to take shape, opening a window to rethink challenges and opportunities in the state performance international system. Emerging countries are becoming increasingly important in the global system. China, India, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa, and to a lesser extent, Turkey, Korea, Mexico, some other countries, occupy an active position in informal international forums, informal and formal, in multilateral institutions. Our National Science and Technology Institute is organized in 3 research perspectives: state, varieties of capitalism and development, The second one, public policies, institutions, and technological dynamics of agriculture. And finally, and most important for this meeting, biodiversity, natural and cultural resources. Biodiversity, natural and cultural resources research perspective wants to interpret the way environmental policies interact with development policies from a framework that favors the society-nature relationship. It combines a large number of projects structured around three pillars: international governance and policies for sustainable development, environmental services in the value chain and natural projects, conservation, sustainable tourism, and biodiversity, and public and private environmental management. Taking into consideration the Rio Plus 20 challenges and our own objectives at the Institute and the graduate program, we would like to propose the challenge of how to make innovation work for sustainable development. This implies state capacity and knowledge governance to avoid the middle-income technological trap, which is an important agenda for emerging countries. To not be trapped is an objective in itself, but the trap includes the non-sustainable development trajectories. This has enormous consequences for both the transfer of technology and intellectual property rules. The commons are in high priority, and Eleanor Ostrom in our minds and hearts. Finally, how to make innovation work for sustainable development is also a risk of not taking into account the other dimensions of the policy and politic agenda. I'm sure this Congress will deal creatively with all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ana Célia, for your words. I would like to invite once again Paulo Mibielli for some words.
My last words is because I forgot to thank to Isaíra. Isaíra, are you there? Ah, yeah. Please, stand up. Isaíra is my secretary. Yeah, applause to Isaíra. Is my secretary and secretary of Peter too, so she's having hard work, very hard work in the local committee. So thank you, Isaíra, for working with us.
I would like to thank all the participants of this opening table and invite them to take their places in the auditorium for the evening's keynote speeches. Thank you.